Well, hello my fellow Cricut Joy owners. You guys are obviously here because you know that there is no scoring tool that you can currently use with a Cricut Joy. You can get a scoring stylus, but this only works with the Explore. The scoring wheel, this one only works with the Maker. That doesn't mean that we can't have score lines in our projects on Cricut Joy. I have a really cool hack that I'm going to show you. It's something that doesn't take very long and it will mean that you can unlock a new level of crafting with your Cricut Joy. Start off by heading over to Cricut Design Space. I'm working on my desktop. I think it's a bit easier to do this part on the desktop. The basic idea is that instead of having a score line, which is what you would have in like a project for the Maker, we're going to recreate the idea of a score line by using a dashed cut line. So I think of these as like imposter score lines for the Cricut Joy. I'll show you how to make it yourself. If you want to save the time, then just search for my profile, Rabia Khans, in Cricut Design Space, and I have created this dashed line in a couple of different lengths, so you can just copy and paste the community project that is available for you like on my profile. If you think you might use the community project I've created, then just go ahead and use the timestamps to skip ahead because I've got a couple of other things I want to show you. Otherwise, stick with me now and I'll show you how to make it. So the first thing you'll do is head over to shapes and just add that single straight line onto your canvas. That's just a simple cut line. And we're going to turn this into a dashed line. It's really simple how you do this. So I'm just going to zoom in. And first off, I'm going to change the height of this line to, let's say, 0.3 centimeters. So it's really small now. And so you can see this is, what one of the dashes will look like. And then I'm going to copy and paste it and then just drag it across to be sort of relatively close. Doesn't have to be exactly in line to the first one. I'm going to copy and paste again and do the same thing. Drag it across. And the only thing I want to sort of try and get right is make sure the spaces between the dashes are looking okay to me. You don't want them too big or too small. You probably want them to be about the same distance apart as the length of the dash. So, another 0.3 centimeters, but this looks fine. I'm going to highlight all three, and then you need to click on Align, Center horizontally, and then Distribute vertically. And now you can see you've got a really nice dash line, which is, all the dashes are exactly in line and they're distributed the same space apart from each other. So what you'll do next is attach all those together and then copy paste to get your next set of dashes. And each time you need to have at least 3 in total, so 2 copies in your original in your line. When you then select them all, you can align them, but you need to have at least 3 items to distribute vertically. And so you can see our dash line is coming together quite nicely. So I'm going to again attach all 3. And now I can probably zoom out a bit. And I'm going to copy and paste this and do just one more to give it a good amount of length. We're doing exactly the same process. You can see how easy this is. Select everything, align, center horizontally, distribute vertically, attach. So that is it. That is your equivalent of a score line that you've now created on your Cricut Joy. Wherever you're making a project and you want a score line, just use this and that will give you kind of the equivalent of a score line. But I do want to show you how you would replace score lines in ready-to-make projects which are, not really compatible with the Maker because of those score lines. So first thing what we'll do is Command-C, have a copy of that score line. In order to see the projects, obviously, which have score lines, you need to change your machine setting from Joy to like Maker or Explore. If I keep it as Joy and search for something like star, you will get lots of options, but none of them will have score lines because those have been filtered out since Design Space knows you can't use score lines. If I change this to the Maker, the same search term gives you different results. So for example, this cake topper, let's use this as an example. You can see that these stars have been folded along those score lines. So let's click on Customize and Replace. If I zoom out a bit, there's lots of stars here. Let's just delete a few of the extras. We only need 1 to work with. Zoom in a bit. Now, before you accidentally do another copy of something, do Command-V to get that dash line we created onto your canvas. So we're going to be replacing all of these score lines in this star with the dash line that we have made. Step 1 is to detach the project. Usually when you open up an image with lots of layers or a project with lots of layers like this, everything will be attached together, so just click on detach. And now we can click on individual score lines in the star. And the first thing you want to check is the length. So for example, this one is about 10 centimeters, but I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to just simply select from the little box at the top of the canvas, Command C, select my dash line, Command V. Now that's going to make the two lines exactly the same length. The next step is to select the original score line and check the rotation. And again, do a Command C and Command V. So now if I move this score line just sort of close to the one we're copying, you can see they're on the exact same angle. So what I'll do now is once I've sort of with the mouse moved the line relatively close to the original score line, I'm going to use my keyboard keys to get it exactly on top. And you can see now that it's exactly in line with the score line below. Once you've done it, either you can select the score line in the layers panel and hide it to get rid of it, or you can right click and delete. So whichever project you're working on, just select all of the score lines, and as I've shown you, replace them with a dashed cut line, checking the length and the rotation, so that you're only left with your imposter score lines, and then you can go ahead and make paper and card projects on your Joy, which have nice little score lines in them. Thank you for joining me today, and I will catch you in the next video. Until then, happy crafting!